Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India, operating the worldwide net today. We wish to, of course, thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us amateurs some space on their valued satellite. We also wish to thank AMSAT DL and AMSAT UK and the BATC for making all this possible for us. Today, we don't seem to have many guys on frequency. I just want to quickly shoot up to the list that I've got currently. And we have ZS1 Mike Leon, who will follow, and then ZS6 Mike Charlie, and then Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November, who is operating, if I can read this correctly, Zulu 200. That's the 200th year of independence, on the 7th of September, 1822. Well, Ed, I have a date in common, but not that long. It's 60 years this year, so that means it's 140 years ago we arrived in this very town where I'm living on the Friday, the 7th of September, 1962 is when we arrived here. So, your Independence Day started on 7th of September, 1822, which was a Saturday. Right, with that, I shall hand it over to Leon, to Henry, and then if anyone else comes on, I just want to see on the other net. Hello, Benno. Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray. And I saw you on earlier, so I presume you'll come on as well. So if you take it after Ed, Benno, if you can copy that, that's fine. Right, Leon, to you, sir. ZS1 Mike to take the microphone from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Okay, it's actually working. Do I have audio? I haven't even checked. Yeah, there is audio. Okay, hello everybody. Hello Gary and Henry and Ed and Benno from ZS1 Moon Mechanic in Worcester. I still have a bit of my cold hangover from yesterday, but it's getting better. It's definitely getting better. What have I been doing today? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yesterday I was busy sorting out my chemicals still and repackaging them and so on. I did check the humidity in my new workshop. It's at 47% at the moment. So it's really drying out very nicely now. This morning when I opened it, it was at 74%. When everything is closed, you still get moisture and coming from the floor and the walls and whatever. But it's definitely much better. It's definitely drying out, and it cannot get any new moisture because of the new roof. Okay, otherwise, no, nothing exciting on this side. So I think I shall give it to Henri, ZS6 Mike Charlie for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Okay, here we go. Good afternoon to everybody. Very nice to see everybody that's going to be on today. And yes, Leon, thank you very much, my friend. I'm glad to see that the moisture is moving out. That makes life a little bit easier. And I know the Western Cape, being born there and raised there, I know that moisture is a huge issue. So it is it's something that obviously you're coming to terms with and fixing good and solidly. Good afternoon to you, Gary. Nice to hear you, and as always, a very nice bouncy tune which gets the spirits up and gets us moving in the right direction. And all noted on your history, Gary. That's very interesting, and of course Ed's history. The Brazilian history is really very interesting, and it's oh, it's a number of years, I would say. And it's actually good to see everybody. And I saw Benno on earlier, Benno, and I hope you switch your light on because you were in the dark when I saw you when you were testing last time. So hopefully I'll be able to see your face, my friend. In any case, it's lovely to be on. It's good to be on DATV today. Get the cobwebs out of the system, and all noted what is said. From my side, just busy with two little projects. One is I'm busy with the Winter Hill project. Managed to get all the components. The only thing is I'm a bit afraid to do my own SMD solder work. But I've been looking on Google, and I've been getting more and more confidence watching the guys doing it. The only thing is if you have to remove a component. I think the issue isn't in the actual soldering the component into place, but should you have to remove it, then that's a different story altogether. And that's why I appreciate Gary, you and Leon with the IRDA T862++. I'm going to see if I can't invest in one of those, because the infrared is absolutely magnificent. I watched that as well, and it's just unbelievable what the guys can do. And maybe Leon, you and Gary as experts, more of an expert than I'll ever be right now, can just mention what you found as well. And then Martin, I want to thank you for the template for the faceplate for the Winter Hill. I will also pass that on to Gary, but we're going to see if we can't get this whole thing done, and then Gary or myself or Leon will post it on the BATC on one of the chat groups, so that it is available for everybody with the full dimensions, distance between A and B and all that kind of stuff. That is the first thing is the Winter Hill. The second thing is I actually went, and this is just for everybody that's watching now that didn't possibly see us talking yesterday. This is my Pluto, and I put in a ECS TCXO into this, and it's a 1 part per million, and tested it on narrowband, which I think is the best place to actually check your drift. And it looks like it's very well managed. 1 part per million is actually acceptable, and SDR console, which was written by Simon, it locks onto it and it just stays rock solid. So yeah, so quite an achievement for me, because it frees up one of my GPS DOs. Where are we there? Frees up one of my GPS DOs, which I then will use just simply to put onto the LMB at 25 megahertz, or maybe even a little bit lower, so that I can get a higher frequency coming out, and then push that into the ICOM IC9700 just for the fun of it. Just for the fun of it. But in any case, that's what I've been busy with. Been very exciting, and I must tell you that SMD work excites me, and I'm looking forward to the day that I can actually do something, or pluck up the courage to do my own soldering work and to do my own desoldering work. So that's it, Gary. That's what I've been busy with. Not really much, and hopefully I was hoping Tom would come up today just to see how he is and how he's doing, and how his family is doing, and yeah, so we carry on from there. So I think it's now for Ed. Ed, good afternoon to you, or good morning to you, Ed. Bon dia, eh? I hope all's going well on your side. I saw the ZZ22, I think it is, but I forgot the last two letters, so you must please forgive me, Ed. So I'm going to hand it over to you as PY2RN, but I'm sure that you'll come on as ZZ, which is good for us to have in the logbook. So PY2RN and the net, this is ZS6MC.
Hi, Harry. Bom dia. Good morning. Good afternoon. Let me adjust my power here. Good evening, everyone. Oops. Yep. I don't know. It's kind of windy here. So leave like that. Okay, guys. I'm glad that I'm going out because I got some problems. Windows updates. Then I try to make the pre-test before coming to the net, and no image, no sound, the usual things that happens when you less expect. So I had to reset everything and make the adjustments on the OBS to make it work again. But okay, nice to participate on this net again. Short net today. Hello, Gary. Thanks for starting and coordinating the net. Hi, Leon. Nice to see you, and Harry. Yeah, Harry, your Portuguese is perfect. I mean, I always talk to Rui, City 1 Zulu X-ray, and he talks about yourself, about you, and seems you always going to Portugal, and so maybe sometime you can schedule some bacalhau with those guys. Yeah, well, I'm using this special call sign, which is a Zulu 2 Oscar. Looks like a Zulu 200, but actually this is elusive to the 200 years of independence that will gonna be celebrated next September 7th. So next Wednesday. And the Brazilian Amateur League are operating with some special call signs, and this is one of them, Zulu 200. I make myself available to work this call sign on the satellites. So I just started yesterday on QO-100 CW. And today on the DATV Net. So everybody that is in the log, I mean, Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India, Zulu Sierra 1 Mike, Zulu Sierra 6 Mike Charlie, you guys gonna receive a certificate. No matter what, yeah, you cannot refuse it. You're gonna receive it because people from the Amateur Radio League are gonna search your email and gonna send you the certificate. Celebration of the Brazilian 200 years independence. So you don't need to do anything. I would just submit the logs with your call sign, and that's it. Okay, guys, nothing else. So you're excited to work with SMD, Harry? Wow. I envy you. I'm always afraid to work with SMD. It's always a big risk. Sometimes it goes well. Sometimes it's a mess. But that's okay. I mean, I have also, a work pending to replace an SMD chip. I think it's a square chip with, I don't know how many leads, but so I'm just, procrastinating here and try to get some motivation to start working and try to replace that chip inside my ATS 2000. It lost serial communication. It lost. I mean, it's not working. Computer. The computer connection is not working. All right. Kind of cold here today. 16 degrees. Very windy. And that makes my signal a little bit QSB, but I think it's okay. All right. I think that's it. No one else on the list. So I'm going to be back to Gary, I believe. Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India. This is Zulu Zulu 2 Oscar Oscar. So back to you, Gary, please.
Yeah. Jumping in here. Good day, everybody. I wasn't planning to come on the air. Just walked in and have nothing prepared. But anyway, if you have nothing to say, you talk about the weather. 28 degrees today in Pretoria. First time short sleeve for this spring, and hopefully there are not too many relapses. Regarding SMD, yeah, also here mixed bag. Years ago I was quite average with it, let's put it this way. But I never really quite mastered soldering SMD chips with a very narrow pin spacing. With other words, you can forget trying to solder pin for pin. And I could only watch in amazement the people that are good at it. They just start with a soldering iron on one corner and then pull it over all the pins and stop on the other side, and not a short circuit. I tried it a few times, was a mitten hiss and fair. But I suppose with practice and most important, proper preparation like flux and all that sort of thing. Anyway, Gary, you take it. 36YI, 36 Golf Echo.
Okay, Frank, I was just hoping to see if Benno wants to come on. Let's just have a look. Papa Alpha 3, Fox Bravo X-Ray. Benno, do you want to take an over? Let me just see if you're going to be on that. I don't know. Benno is on, but let's have a look. Benno, would you like to take an over and you pass it back to me from ZA6YI?
Yeah, put some audio in there. Let me see if this works. Should work. Yeah, I hear myself. Well, on the background, the noise of my television, because obviously racing in Holland and national guy is doing a great job there, and I have to cheer him. Be watching one eye on that big screen. But when the group is a little bit short, I have two issues. Currently transmitting with DATV Easy 2.05, which is an update from 2.04. Gave me a tremendous amount of work in order to get it working. But today played over 2 hours with it and managed to get it working this morning. So that is a progress. And I'm still in beta testing, but I hope Dominic is updating, and there is a few issues, but I got it to work. And when it works great. So that's one thing. Another thing, and that is an idea I got from another ham, local ham. I know it's a pretty old idea, but I wonder if there is anyone who has already played with it. I will going to play with it, and that is offset dishes. Offset dishes are typically always the same, mounted with the oval higher than the width. And because of the wideband is horizontal, the idea is to mount the dish 90 degrees differently. So basically getting the dish not as an offset dish anymore, but as a kind of prime focus dish, and using the additional height of the oval as the width for the wideband. I wonder if anyone played with it. Yesterday I changed my dish because it also needed, well, it's quite big in my mobile home, so I decided to exactly grind it to the middle, so make two halves of it, and then mount the two halves back together with something on the back of the dish. And I did all the mechanical work for that. And while I was doing that, I was able to measure and compare the top and the bottom side, which are identical. And so I also changed my mounting of the dish to be able to rotate it 90 degrees in the near future, and I will do the tests for that, probably with a LNB in my hand. But I want to see if I get additional, at least reception for 10 gig in the horizontal part of our hobby, because vertical is the narrow band, horizontal is the wide band. I expect additional gain, and I wonder if someone has played with that and what the idea on that. Rotating an offset dish to get additional gain in the horizontal band spec of the. Okay, well, that's a thing I have done so far. And what else to add? Still working on my shack, which looks better and better every day, but also it's quite messy at the moment. So I don't want, but this is my video wall where I'm pretty happy about. This is my video wall, and my shack is over there with the transceivers. So it starts looking at something. The cabinets for storage are all filled to the knock, to the all shelves are filled. So I need to do, and I did something on the lighting of my shack. If I turn it on, it should be much better. Well, that's a thing I worked on. I had a very busy week over the last week, also working at the moment, and I have to go to work tonight, this evening. So again, a lot of time. Okay, that's pretty much all. Microphone back to you, Gary, and maybe next over, and I will try to follow and come back if possible. And obviously, Ed, because I'm now on the lock, I'm also going for that wonderful certificate. From Papa Alpha, number 3, Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray, microphone back to you, Ed. Sorry, Gary.
Okay, 100%. Foxtrot, Papa Alpha 3, Fox Bravo X-Ray, ZS6YI. Very good indeed, and nice to see you there, Benno. Benno, I don't think it will make much of a difference in gain because it's, if you look at a prime focus dish, you're rightly in the middle and you at a higher angle to your satellite. But a offset dish is mostly designed so that your dish can be more vertically stationed, even though it's at a high, it's looking at a high degree. So your difference comes in the actual bending of the dish where you're going to feed to convince or to force the wave to have a higher takeoff angle without having to have a very high takeoff angle with the dish. And there's reasons for that because many of those dishes are mounted against a wall, so they would have to make a long arm away from the wall to get it to, if the satellite's quite high, you see. So that's actually why they have an offset. That's where the name comes from. So I don't think there's going to be much gain, but it's going to be interesting to see what you determine. I designed for Matthias, DD1 US, I designed a dish where we could cut a dish and then reassemble it with little clips at the back, just with a pin, and very quickly assemble it, and then for portable use. So we played around with those dimensions a bit, and as far as I'm concerned, it won't make very much of a difference. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see your views there. Then Frank, DD0CW, tipped me off. He said there was an update to OBS, which he was using, but it does not accept the normal FFmpeg camera type thing. So he had to manipulate things, and it took him a little while, but he's got it right. So if we're going to have to overcome that at one or other stage, Frank has all the info, and he always shares. So I didn't bother. I said to Frank, I'm going to try and not do any updates on my OBS. It's working, it's stable, etc. And also noted on the Easy, I've seen quite a few guys starting to use that now, and they have, I think, also with the update, and it looks a lot better. But we would like to learn from you, Benno, what was the difficulties? What messed you around? It'll be interesting to see. Right. On the Brazilian independence, yes, as I said earlier, that is Zulu 00, Oscar, ne? But anyway, congratulations on that call sign. And yeah, we'll be delighted to get a certificate. You know, we've got no certificates. Ed, my most difficult 3 years at school were the 3 years in Standard 8. So it'll be nice to get an award like that. Anyway, we look forward to that happening. There was something, oh yes, Ed, I got an email from Hans. I think you got it as well. He did copy you. I don't know if you answered. But from about the 20th to the 23rd with the solstice coming up, and I think there could be a bit of an eclipse, I'm not sure. But he would like us all to be measuring at the same time, same date, same time, so that they can compare. This is another phenomenon they want to check. So I don't know if you'll be ready, and I don't know if you're going to put your GPS back on to the little Pluto. Henry, all good on the Pluto? Yeah, great job. Putting the little unit back in, or the 1 part per million. That's very good. It'll work nicely on SSB, and of course it'll work very well on DATV. There's an advantage in doing that. I've got one Pluto with a 0.5 ppm, which Alessandro still did for me. There is an advantage having that, and that is if something happens to the satellite or something happens to GPS, put it that way, you're still okay. You can still operate. You're not totally now reliant on the GPS signal to make your frequency accurate. So there are advantages having a stable oscillator down at the bottom. Leon gifted me a very nice oscillator. It's a rubidium type. Very, very stable. That's a 10 meg one. And I got the power supply and everything for it. I've just never put it on, but the time's coming close when I want to get all the 10 meg instruments in the shack running off that, because that's very, very accurate. And but Leon did measure one against the Leo Bodner, and he was pleasantly surprised that the Leo Bodner held its own. So yeah, new technology, new ways of doing things. Leon, yeah, nice to see you, and I'm happy to hear that the cold is starting to develop, or to disappear rather. Yeah, it's been a horrendous day for me today. It started very, very early. I got a message that a very good friend of mine, Professor David Cleff, David and I had lunch together in London in 2019. He was at one stage the chairman and then became the secretary of the International Dentistry Federation, but with particular on aesthetics. He grew up here in Vereeniging. He is quite a bit older than what I am, but we were good friends, and it was heartbreaking to hear that he had disappeared or passed on, put it that way. And we still had a little standing joke. He didn't want to accept a deal on payment for the lunch in London. He said, when I come back to South Africa, then it's your turn to pay at the butcher shop. I said, you got a deal. And unfortunately, COVID intercepted, and so David never arrived. But I'll have a glass of wine. Not that I drink wine, but I'll have a glass of wine on David, on his memory. And then about 10 minutes before we came on air, another very good friend of mine that I started my plastic injection molding company with his help or assistance. He passed away today, about 800 meters at the hospital very close to us. So it's not been a very nice day from that point of view. Anyway, right, Henry, yeah, excellent signal from you today, no problem, nice audio, everything good. And I'm by the way, looking forward to seeing Leon's X-ray things. I was watching something on YouTube earlier about the border control. And they've got X-ray machines that really can dissect things. It can spot all sorts of things. There's a guy that tried to get away with wrapping some cocaine in a silver paper bag. It didn't work. They just found him out in no time. So that will be nice to have one of those X-ray machines just for all sorts of fun. But I'm sure Leon's will get his going nicely, and we'll get some photos in due course. Right. And then, Benno, again, on your side, your shack's looking very nice. You've got a wall of video, that's for sure. And we hope your driver does well today. We hold thumbs for him, but he's a great guy, and it looks very encouraging. So I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a bit of fun with our Springboks. They beat the Wallabies, Australian team. You know, some years back, my wife and I helped the guy start a restaurant, bankrolled him, and he paid back. He did excellently. And then the Wallabies came to have dinner at his restaurant. So he closed the restaurant on the Sunday night, and only my wife and I as guests were invited. So I sat all amongst these guys. I know nothing about rugby. I'm not too keen on it. And the guy sitting right across me was the manager of the Welsh rugby team. And as it turned out, when the next World Cup happened, the kickoff was in Wales. And he sent me, because I gave him my business card, he sent me a jersey, which the whole Welsh team signed, and free entrance tickets. And I'm not really worried about rugby. And then a few years prior to that, when my son and daughter were at primary school, they won a raffle. And the raffle was one of the World Cup rugby balls that was signed by both teams in the final. I've still got it in a little case. And then the last thing about rugby, and not that I'm involved, I couldn't be bothered. My son and I are coming back from New Zealand, and we're at Sydney Airport. And the chap comes to me and he says, my son and I have been upgraded to first class. I said, oh, that's very nice. Why? He says, because we have the the All Blacks on the plane, and they've taken all the business class seats. I said, oh, great. Anyway, we landed at started at Sydney, landed at Perth, and we went to the same lounge. And there was my son with the whole team of All Blacks, and he took a piece of paper and he captured everyone's signature, and they were ragging him and playing the fool. It was a lovely trip. Again, an experience with rugby, and we've got nothing to do with rugby. Right, with that, Leon, to you, ZS1 Mexico, Mexico, to take it from ZS6 Yankee, India.
Jy moet die knoppie druk, Gary, anders bly jy transmit. Okay, fine. Yeah, sorry to hear about the loss of your friends, Gary, all in such short span of time. Not nice. Okay. Yes, Benno, I'm working backwards now. The Easy 2.05, I see they've now progressed from 2.04 to 2.05. What are the benefits? Can you tell us? Do you get better resolution? Do you get better stability? Is there any reason for me to change to that? Surely there must be something good about it, because everybody's raving about it, but I'd like to know what is better about it. Okay, and Frank, yeah, hello to you as well. Yeah, you didn't have much, any specific thing, I think. Ed, oh, nice about the certificate. Yeah, and by the way, Ed, there's no QSB on your signal. You are a solid D6 here with me. Solid D6. So nothing wrong with your transmission from that side. Henry, the infrared. Okay. Firstly, surface mount technology, I avoid it as far as possible, but you know, with microwave stuff, everything is surface mount. You can't do through-hole stuff with microwave equipment. But when you design things for yourself, steer away from surface mount as far as you can. But when you get to, obviously, to microwave amplifiers and so on, you have to use surface mount. It's very easy to work with, but very time consuming. You can assemble a through-hole board 10 times faster. I'm talking about doing it by hand, not by a pick-and-place machine. If you have a pick-and-place machine for surface mount, it goes very quick. But no private guy can have that. So if you have to do it by hand, surface mount, it's very time-consuming. You know, if it's a whole board full of components. Another thing, a lot of the commercial stuff, they have on the bottom of the board, they'll have all surface mount stuff, and at the top of the board, they'll have through-hole components. Then you're slightly buggered. If you want to replace one of the surface mount stuff, you can't really do it, not efficiently, because you have to invert the board to get the bottom heat. You can't heat it through all the big components sitting at the top normally. So that's a mess. But if it's just a surface mount board like an RF amplifier or something, it's very easy. You take off the heat sink, the bottom is just ground plane normally. You put it in the machine, switch on the bottom heat, leave it for 10 minutes at least to warm up nicely. And then you just go with the infrared from the top, and you just pick off the component that you want to. It's so easy. Another secret with surface mount, it's not the solder that's important. You actually use the minimum of solder, but the flux, you use copious amounts of flux. When you assemble something, you make pretty sure that the pads on the board have been tinned with surface mount solder, you know, that contains silver. Most of this soldering pastes for surface mount contains, I think, 1 or 2% of actual silver. Because if you don't have that, it dissolves the end caps of the components, like the chip caps and the chip resistors. Normal solder will dissolve that metallizing at the ends, and then nothing wants to take to it. So you tin everything with a soldering iron, and just enough, just to wet it. And if you then drop an IC on there, you can literally just wipe your soldering iron with lots of flux. Wipe your soldering iron across the pins and it'll sit. Or you can use the infrared. I normally tack them just 2 diagonal corners with the soldering iron, so I know it's in position. Then give it lots of flux and just put it on under the infrared, and you see it flow, and there you are. Minimal solder. There's another way of doing it. You use lots of solder and fuse the whole lot together, and then you just use solder wick and a broad tip soldering iron and just run it on the solder wick, and it sucks up all the excess solder, and there you sit with a beautifully done chip. So it's not so difficult, but it does take longer doing it manually. Okay. What else? There was something else. Yeah, we're having extremely high winds here. Ed, it's probably also about 16 degrees here. It's quite cold. That's why I've got a jacket on. But very high winds today. So yeah, there we have it. Okay, Henry, back to you. ZS6 Mike Charlie and the group ZS1MM.
Just waiting for the picture to come up. Thank you very much, Leon. Much appreciated. And that's why I know people put on the what they call it, the TV picture first. So the test pattern. But in any case, thank you very much. Thanks a lot, guys. Firstly, if I may, I'd like to just say to Gary, sorry to hear about your friends and your loss. So I hope that everything will go well with their families and with yourself. I know it's not easy, and it's not pleasant when that kind of thing happens. And the other thing is, Gary mentioned the X-ray. Leon, you must tell us more about the X-ray on the next time that you come on. I'm quite keen to know how that's been going, because it's another one of those things that I'm really scared of, because if you don't know what you're doing, I think it can be quite horrendous. But in any case, one of those things. What can one do? Also just want to say hello to Frank. Nice to see you on, Frank, and thanks for your comments. And I hope all's going well there in good old P-Town. In South Africa, we call Pretoria P-Town. And yes, I hope all's going well there. It looks like the weather is kind to you, Frank, with a short sleeve. Where I am at the moment, I don't even know what the temperature is. I don't think it's too good, unfortunately. But I'm happy here where I am at the moment. So it is just the right temperature for me. I'm just looking at my notes, guys, because, gee, there was a lot of information. Zulu 2 Oscar. Ed, thank you very much. It's very kind of you to organize that for us. We really will appreciate. I will actually keep it in a very special place on my side, the certificate. So thank you very much for doing that. It's I think it's also a memorable occasion. I mean, to think that Brazil has been independent for so many years. It's been a heck of a long time. So very nice indeed. And just to let you know, bacalhau, I don't like the one with the milk. I noticed you were laughing. That to me is not fun. But other pieces of bacalhau I enjoy very much. So I can live with it, Ed. And yes, Rui, you must just remind me of his call sign again. But yes, I used to visit Portugal twice a year since 2011, and COVID put a stop to that completely, and I haven't been there for 3 years. But we hope to go in the next couple of weeks back to Portugal. I really like the country, Ed. It's really very nice, and where I stay normally, it's in the countryside, so it's in the quintas, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's sort of between the sea and between the mountains, so I'm sort of halfway between the sea and the mountains, and it's quite rural and it's quite pleasant. So you don't have any of the normal holiday makers. You don't know that they're there because you're far away from it. So yeah, that's the story there. Ed, thank you very, very much, Ed. I appreciate everything. And then to Benno. Yeah, great stuff, Benno. Yeah, Max Verstappen, I think he's a real good guy, by the way. I saw a profile on him, and really a nice man, very, very family orientated. So it was actually nice to see him speak and to give his philosophies. I think it's the same one. I must just double check, but I think it was Max Verstappen. So yeah, and thanks, Gary, for reminding me of the name. That is for sure. I see I'm only a D4. I wonder what's going on here. My signal has dropped. It's very, very strange. My signal has dropped. Yeah, I think I've got a problem. But in any case, I won't hold it very much longer. Then also to Frank. Frank, great stuff. Great to see you on, and hopefully we'll chat again very, very soon. I will be in Pretoria, so I can always try and make some time to just come and say hi and have a cup of coffee. Thank you very much. And Benno, lastly, I don't know much about the offset dishes and to turn it, but I do use an offset dish for my reception, and it really works very, very well. So I'm get the beacon here at a D7 on a 1.2 meter offset dish with a bullseye LMB. So really, really comes through very nicely indeed. So yes, that's all I can tell you about the offset dish. I'm not an expert on that field at all, but I see Gary knows what he's doing, so maybe he would be able to be the right guy to chat to you about that. So yeah. Oh, and lastly, Benno, your shack looks great. It really, really looks great. And I don't know, Gary, have you got a picture behind you, or is that your shack? Have you actually cleaned up your shack? Because that also looks great. So it looks like everything in its right place. Anyway, I can't say the same about me behind me. It's a bit of a dog's breakfast over here behind me, but what can you do? All right, guys, that's it. No more from me. I will carry on playing here while I still have time and see if I can get my stuff going as well. And just to comment, my first time around going over to Portugal, I must probably take reception with me. The only thing is transmission will be on the next round. So that's it, one thing at a time. Unfortunately, I'm quite sequential in that way. So thanks a lot, guys, and it was nice, absolutely nice being on the net today. I won't come back. I'll listen to everybody, of course, as always, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful time for the next week, until next weekend. Okay, so Ed, get your signal ready. I think it was Saro that always says get your transmission ready, Ed. Zulu 2 Oscar Oscar, and the net. This is ZS6 Mike Charlie wishing you 73s and all the best for now, but I'll be listening to the final side. Bye bye now.
Zulu 06 Mike Charlie. This is Zulu 2 Oscar Oscar. Yeah, this time I have we have the Zulu too. So it's a Zulu net today. Okay, very good, very good. Yes, Henry. I think I've never been to Portugal, and but I kind of know those places that you mentioned. That's really very nice, and I hope this year you can go there and enjoy it without all the COVID stuff. Gary, I'm also sorry to hear about your friend. My condolences and all the best for his family and friends. Leon, QSL about the SMD soldering. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, you need practice and the correct tools, obviously, to do that the right way. I was missing to do some maintenance in a regular circuit. I just need to replace this Max 232. See, that's beautiful. It's easy. It's not SMD. Although it's an IC, but it's so easy to pull out, and I'm going to replace this one. I'm just going to, desolder with the, and put a socket. I'm going to put a socket and get another Max 232 in place. So that's paradise comparing to SMD work. Yeah. By the way, this is a rotor interface controller, GS232 from Yaesu. Yeah. Serial port is not working as well. Yeah, the lightning strike a few months ago here made a lot of damage, and I'm still finding things that broke and try to fix. So that's been happening. It's a long time I didn't use this interface, and yesterday I was trying to put on the air and realize it was not communicating with the PC. So, yep, that happens. Frank, nice to see you. Thanks for joining the net, and I see you on the log, so we're gonna get the certificate as well, Benno. And I'm curious, Benno, what's happening with IKEA there in Holland? Are they going out of business? Because everybody's renewing the shock. Bert, PA3 AOD, last net showed us his new shock, renewing everything, new furniture. So just wondering if IKEA is providing good discounts for you guys there in Holland. Oh God! Because nowadays, at least here, it's more expensive to get the furniture for the shack than the equipment itself. Everything's so expensive, the desks, the cabinets, the drawers, and everything is very expensive. And if you hire someone to make it, it's going to be even more expensive. I'm trying to look for some used office furniture. That's what I'm looking for. So at least I can get maybe lower prices. And okay, thanks for the information regarding the DATV Easy. I downloaded the version which is available to download, but I didn't install it. I didn't get time. Regarding the offset dish, well, I also don't know. Well, kind of agree with Gary. I don't believe the gain will be significant. Since it's going to be like just a few centimeters, I think it doesn't worth the mechanical work that you have to do to modify. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. But anyways, if you do it, let us know how was the result. And here in Brazil, we use those offset dishes upside down because of the low elevation. If we use the offset in normal position, it will point too much to the bottom, to the ground. So we just invert it to get, pointing to the sky. This is mechanically more efficient, and it also facilitates the pointing, but only for that reason. All right, that said, let's go back. Thank you very much all for joining the net, for participating of this Brazilian 200 years Independence Day celebration. I really appreciate it, and hope to see you guys next week. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you. Frank. Yeah, test card. Yeah, maybe we are missing, Henry, the test card. People from the ATC, they do that like this is a normal procedure, but, you know, I don't know. But anyways, Zulu Sierra 6 Golf Echo, Frank to you. This is, no, sorry, Zulu Zulu 2 Oscar 73 to all. Bye-bye.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I saw that OBS has an update, and I said, remind me later. Looks like that one was one of my better decisions. Let's wait and see what's happening. That's always a problem with updates, I find. Then something unexpected crops out the woodwork and you scratch your head, now what has gone wrong now? You know, yeah. Like I said, I have this Windows on the printer network or so. Every now and then the printers are not reachable anymore. And you have to dig into the settings to tick there and make a cross there, and eventually you get it right. Leon, I see you wear a Sanae jacket. I didn't give one to me, but I have a tie. That's what I got. Let's just see. It might take a while to focus. There we are. Yeah, but that is now a long time back. The ship was still the RSA at the time. Long retired. Anyway, Henry, you're welcome anytime. Just let me know, and we can have that cup of coffee. I'm mostly around, so it shouldn't really be a problem. Lightning, I know the feeling. I had similar experiences. I thought, I got away with it lightly, only this small thing blown. And then I found, now all of a sudden the garage door doesn't work, and this doesn't work. As you go along, you discover what else has blown up. And Benno, regarding the dish, well, theoretically maybe, because if you now use it as a bound focus, you see more surface. But I have no clue, of course, if the curvature is right for focusing properly. Anyway, the proof is in the pudding. That's what we amateurs are for. We try crazy ideas, and sometimes they work. Okay, yeah. There was something else I scribbled. Oh yeah, Henry, I see you have a Collins in the box here in the back. That's what it looks like to me. Anyway, I should know the picture, the front panel of these things, that's for sure. I don't think I'll come back. It's coffee time. So Pat is preparing. So all the best, what's left from the Sunday, and I pass it on to Benno.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll do a proper test card. Hi. Yeah. That's the next story. Okay, going from back to front. Dishes. I intended to when I rotate the dish, obviously use it as a prime focus. After that, but no clue if the dish size will do any prime focus additional gain. But it's just a test, and because I wanted to get the dish in half for transport reasons, there was just a few holes to get it rotated and get the mount correctly. So that wasn't too much work. Actually, that was the least of work. But obviously I don't have any mounting at the moment for a feed, so I end up probably for test purpose holding the feed by my hand or putting it on some kind of arm in front of it on a mount some way, maybe on a camera mount or something in front of the dish in order to get it to focus. But it will be fun to test the idea, and maybe it's just a waste of time. Probably will be in the end. But if I'm not doing anything, I won't progress. That's something I learned a long time ago. Okay, for 204, 205, the reason to update. That's a good question. I would say if you are a specialist on FFmpeg, you can get better pictures on FFmpeg scripting. Using the right script, FFmpeg script will improve your quality for that resolution. But I am one of those guys moving around from frequencies, from resolutions, from all kind of settings. Front and back, and that's the reason I don't want to play perfecting my FFmpeg for the best quality. In the end, I just want my picture transmitted, but I want to have it more easier, and I would say DATV is doing just that. It makes all much easier. And obviously, because before to get it to work, it's not easy at all. The problem, as Chris already written in the box, in the chat box, he's right. 204, 205 weren't in the same directory. They were, and they are using similar files. And in the end, I'd thrown off all the previous versions of FreeStream and all the settings of FreeStream, all the settings of DATV EC204, and then reinstalled 205, and then I had to reboot the Pluto twice. I had to do some settings twice, and suddenly it worked. So it's not completely stable, and I wouldn't advise at this moment to use it. But the reason for using it is ease of use of transmission. There's only one screen, DATV Easy. Let me see if I can do it quickly. See. Why? Wrong screen. That's the wrong screen. See if I quickly show what I'm talking about. There it is. Let me pop my image. Okay, basically there is only this box. This box is only, I don't need this, obviously. I don't need this, obviously. This is something else. There's only this box to work on, and you set the frequency by selecting here, you're selecting the power here, you're setting your transport stream size here, the mode here, all the settings in one box, and you just press start and it starts to transmit. You don't need to go to browsers, you don't need to go to OBS settings, or it's just one setting, and that's the reason, the ease of use. So that's the only reason to go to DATV Easy. It will set the frequency, it will set the power, it will set all the acquired settings, and then just you press start and it starts to work. And that's the only reason, Leon, for using this this difference. What else did I miss? Okay. Condolences to Gary, obviously. It's always difficult to lose a good friend, and so condolences there, and I hope you manage to get the pain gone. Okay, let's see if I can get an image back of myself. And then I move the frequency on to Gary oh, by the way, SMD, surface mount devices. I have worked a few, well, 2-3 years at Asus Computers, and there I needed to learn working on surface mount devices. And I would say at the moment, I'm pretty much over. I would rather put all the components on a surface mount board than on a through-hole board. And I have done a few boards over the last few years, especially for fox hunting receivers, where you have also to build everything yourself. And there's I've done now, I think, 5-6 receivers from the community for surface mount, and I'd rather build one of those. It's more that you will lose all the components, and you need to organize your component settings where you put your components you want to mount, because you will lose everything because it's that small. And yes, you need flux and liters of them. Tremendous amount of flux, and then I am not using special solder. I'm still using the normal solder, and I never had a problem of components which break or were damaged due to the solder. What I wonder if I can get rid of all the flux, because flux is obviously also eating doing something on the board, and shouldn't, and you need a lot of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, to get rid of the flux. But obviously underneath the components, sometimes it's quite difficult to get it clean. That's the only issue I had. I've done, I think, about 6 or 7 Plutos at the moment, maybe 8 Plutos with new TCXOs. I have about 15 TCXOs still lying here on my shelf for 0.5 ppm, and I just put them on the board. Even the latest version DERC, which are easier on the bottom, you just take it off, you put a new TCXO on the same spot, and it still works. So that's what I did over the last few weeks. Actually, I have 2 new Plutos lying here, which are just updated, and I wonder if I'm going to update the PTT also for the Pluto PTT. Sometimes it's quite handy, but it's quite difficult still for a lot of people, and I've actually sent it a few away which are updated. and just to help out, because I appreciate some of the people have the shivers of updating this small what is it, 2 mil TCXO component on a 250 euros at the moment Pluto. It's crazy. Okay, microphone back to you, Gary, from Papa Alpha number 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray, also signing off and clear, viewing the last sector where the Dutch guy still is on the front, but he's chased by about 20 others. Hi. Greetings, Gary.
Okay, I thought I'll bring in the test pattern. Okay, Benno, all the best to you. Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray ZA6YI. Yeah, my son used to do a heck of a lot of surface mount, and he liked that. Leon and I are old school. Firstly, we don't have the eyesight that these youngsters have, so it's a bit of a problem. But Leon's very deft at it, and he gave me a lot of tips when I started with the surface mount stuff. So you can learn a lot there, Henry, for sure. Anyway, I think I'll also make this the final over. It's been a short net, but quite interesting all the same. And I want to thank you guys for coming up. Yeah, Leon, don't forget, next week we'd like to see some of those X-ray stuff. And Henry, I still suggest you should try and get, you've got an amp, you've got a spare amp, you've got a spare Pluto. So get this stuff configured and take it with you and run it off your laptop. And then you can still join us, but from Portugal. Why not, man? It's not going to be that difficult. We'll help you put it in a box if you need to, help you get it set up. It's not an issue. And let's get you going so that you can slap it in your bag and take it across and set up your station. At least you, yes, I've got a bloody spider running around here. Yeah, the cleaning of the boards, we've got a nice little thing. Let me just see if it'll work. It's a very, very effective little spray. And I don't even know, it's isopropyl alcohol rather, and whatever other gadget, but it does work very, very well. So that cleans up the board quite nicely. All right, with that, I'm going to basically close the station, but listen to a complete round. So Leon to you, then to Henry, to you, Ed, thanks for coming up, and to Frank, who says he's going for coffee, and Benno's going to watch the racing. So really, it's only Leon, Henry, myself, and Ed, and indeed, it's the Zulu net today, other than Benno. That doesn't happen often. We must log this, take a photograph. ZS1, Mike, to take it from ZS6 Yankee India.
Okay, Gary, ZS6 Yankee India and the group ZS1MM returning. A lot of things I have to comment on. Firstly, before Frank disappears, Frank, unfortunately, they have changed the tie. Look what it looks like now. This is what well, when I was there in 86 and 87, I was there. This is what it looks like now. No, they didn't give me this jacket. This is just, and you have to buy everything. This is just an old jacket, and I had to buy these. This is the Sunai one, and there is Marion. That's Marion, and that's Gough Island. You had to buy them on the ship. But anyway, okay. I see your tie looks slightly different to mine. Right, okay. Gary, I forgot to mention, yeah, rugby, I classify it as a barbaric sport. I don't want to have anything to do with it. The offset dish. The whole reason why they've made offset dishes was to prevent or eliminate feed blocking. On a prime focus dish, you lose gain by the feed sitting here in the prime spot of the dish, and it's blocking your radiation. So they've moved it out of the way, and nothing goes through the feed again. It goes from the feed and off. That's the main reason why they did it. Now, I think, who was it, Ed, who said he cut it in two? Maybe the lengths of the two sections are the same, but the curvature, remember, that's not a spherical dish. It's an ellipsoid, and it's not a whole ellipsoid. An offset dish is the one petal of a prime focus dish, which is exponential. It's an ellipsoid. So the bottom section will not have the same curvature as the top section. So if you make it a prime focus dish, you're going to have quite a bit of a lopsided lobe coming off it. As far as the polarization is concerned, I don't think it'll have any effect. But anyway, that's one thing. That's the offset dish. Okay, the X-rays. Okay, I can take some X-rays of a couple of interesting things. I've made a little box where I use one of my digital cameras and a screen, so I get it directly in digital form as a digital picture. So I can import that into OBS and show you a couple of things. Maybe a Pluto, X-ray of a Pluto. No, not my Plutos. I'll X-ray anything else, but not my Plutos. No. Okay, let's offset these, the infrared, the X-ray here, and Ed. And Benno, thanks for the explanation of the easy. Well, I think even this thing that we're using now is, I think you could get better quality when we still did it manually. You could have it like just on the edge, whereas this thing automatically sorts it out, but it's running on the safe side, so you're not getting the highest quality, but you're getting a very stable system, which, yeah. Okay, that is that. Frank, okay, we've done the tie. Yeah, I think that's roughly it for now. Okay, yeah. Right, I'll think of interesting things that I can X-ray. Pictures next time. ZS. Oh, somebody must have come on top of me. ZS6 Mike Charlie, if he's still there for the group. ZS1 Mike.
Yeah, that was a bit strange. The signal went sky high. I thought it was me, and I actually reduced it. So I'm not sure if there was somebody else around. But in any case, yeah, thanks a lot, Gary, for running the net. I must thank Leon, I never did before, for giving such a wonderful explanation about surface mount technology, soldering and desoldering, and what to do and what not to do. And of course, heating the board from beneath. I think the IRDA does that, which helps. There's about 3 different temperature settings on that piece of equipment that you can set, which is quite nice. just want to see something here. Not sure if it's okay. Yeah. So Miguel, we'll call you in. That's for sure. And yes, just to comment on the ties and the jackets. Very nice jacket, Leon. A lovely tie that you've got there, Frank. I actually saw the Oranje Blanje blow. So I don't know what year that was, but in any case, I saw that in the background behind the actual the actual diagram of the Antarctic, I think it is. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. So okay, so good. So Gary, I will hand it over to you as soon as I'm finished, and then you can call Miguel in, I presume, because Frank is gone, Benno's gone. Yeah, Ed's there. So I'm going to hand it to Ed first, and then from there we can go back into the roll call. All right, so that was the one thing about the tie. Yes, Frank, it is a Collins radio. You recognize quite rightly so. It is behind you, and it's behind me, and it's actually looking at you. Quite right. And I do have to agree about the updates. I'm a person who waits for everybody else to do the update, find the problems, and then I'll go in and and learn from everybody else. Yes, and then of course the flux and the solder paste and solder flux. That's something that I would have to get hold of as well. I do have some solder paste. I think it's in this bottle over here. So that's what I have. Solder flux. Sorry, the paste is a little bit more hard, if you want to call it that, or more in line with the paste. All right, guys. Benno, thank you very much for also giving me a couple of tips there, and also for talking about DATV Easy. It is always good to experiment, and I must say, and the fact that you've taken your time to make it work, it's absolutely great. Then Gary, you didn't comment on your shack. I think your shack has also is rather neat. I'm not sure if it's a picture that you got up behind you, but I think it is your shack. It looks very, very good, Gary. Very nice indeed. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you very much. It was nice being on the net today, and nice to hear all the comments and all the helpful tips to make life a little bit easier for one. And Gary, yes, I'm toying with the idea of taking something with me, and we'll talk about it during the week. Okay, so that's it. It's over to you, Ed, and then from there, I presume you can decide where you want it to go, Ed. So Zulu 2 Oscar Zulu 2 Oscar, and the net, the CZ6 Mike Charlie. Now wishing you all the best for now. Bye bye, and 7-3.
Roger, QSL Henry. Yeah, the wind is affecting my reception and my transmission a little bit. Okay. I got some visit here in the shack now. Being very nice, you guys. Yeah, let me show you who is the visit. Yeah, here it is. It's Suko. And for Leon, I agree 100% what you said about the offset dishes. That's exactly it is. Just a piece of entire parabola, a slice of a pizza. And we do have here this type of dishes, which you can split in two. It's very handy for portable operations. That's the one, exactly what I'm showing you. It's exactly the dish I used when I operated from Papa Yankee Zero Foxtrot. Yeah. It works well. This is a 60 centimeters dish. The same company makes 75 and also 90, but unfortunately I didn't find it on the market. Probably they are making it just OEM for other companies. But that's it. And the only thing I mentioned is that here in Brazil we usually put the dish upside down with the arm that holds the feeder on the top, not on the bottom. That's because of the low elevation. All right, guys, thank you very much. 73 to all. Until next week. This is Zulu Zulu 2. Oscar Oscar is going to be active on SSB as well. And actually, it's active on HF and all other bands. There is also other special calls like Zulu Victor 200 something, Bravo Radio, I think. This is Zulu Zulu 2 Oscar. Oscar is from Labre, São Paulo, the Brazilian Amateur Radio São Paulo section. Okay, so I'm gonna pass to Frank, if he's still there. I don't believe Zulu Sierra 6 Golf Echo is still there, but if not, it's going to be Benno to close the net because Gary, I think it's already closed. So 73 to all from Zulu Zulu to Oscar Oscar. 73. Bye bye.
Now that's interesting, not locked. Okay. Right. Okay, I think Frank said he's going to coffee and Benno said he was going to watch the cars. I just wanted to know, McGill would like to have a QSO with you, Ed. McGill, he came up on the DATV Net and he said he's watching. Can you also get one of those lovely certificates? McGill, and he's Charlie Tango 3 Fox Mike. So I can try. Okay, so I'll give him a turn after this. And Henry, yes, it is my shack, but it's a photo of my shack when it was nice and clean. So I'm using the photo and just superimposing it. But indeed, it is the shack. Like it, when Lorna comes to visit in the shack, it'll look like that, you see. Other than that, she doesn't come near. So the trick is to, now that it's getting warm, build everything downstairs in the workshop, set up all the test instruments there, and keep the shack as a operating station. Then it'll stay clean like this. Right, McGill, would you like to try and take an over and see if you can work Old Man Ed from Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee India?
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, all of you. My name is Miguel, and I'm transmitting from Funchal, the capital of Madeira Island. Charlie Tango 3, Florida, Mexico. It's not the first time that I go out, but today I had some casualty, a little opportunity to make the uplink, because this time of the DATV net, it's not the best time for me. It's usually it's the lunch time, and today I see your QSO, but it's quite 2:30 more or less that I arrive home. And okay, with Eduardo, yes, we had today at night local QSO in Portuguese language, and my apologies for my English. It's not my natural language, but I understand all of you said, but speaking it's another thing. My compliments to all of you. I usually see this net QSO, and all the things that you said here, it's all important. Okay, I pass to Eduardo, Ipson 2, Radio November. And see if my transmission reached Brazil.
Yes, Miguel, it reached very well. Bom dia, boa tarde. Thank you for joining the net. Glad to see you on the net, and great transmission from Funchal, Madeira Island. I think it's your first participation here on the Worldwide Net, so we are all very glad to see you, Miguel. And you're already in the log to get the certificate. Anyways, as you said, we're gonna have the Atlantic QSO in Portuguese language later on today, so no problem. Very nice to see you, Miguel. Thank you for joining. 73. Back to you, Gary. Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee India. Gary, forgot to mention, I just answered to Hans. Yep, I explained the situation in the email there. You included. So thanks City3 Fox Mexico for joining, for everybody to join in the net, and until next week. Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee India. Back to you, Gary.
Okay, very, very good indeed. Hello, Miguel. Welcome aboard. Excellent signal from Madeira. And we have a large amount of people living very close to me that originally came from Madeira. I got a lot of good Portuguese friends indeed from your part of the world. So welcome aboard. And I also put you on the other log, which you can pick up on the net. On that WhatsApp page. You can just pick it up there in future, and you can also log in. Yeah, it might be a bit early for the guys in Europe and the UK, but at one or other time, the clocks move on, and then it works out quite well. We had to sort of get it in between the guys in Europe, of course, Ed, who just gets out of bed and he has to come on the air. And then, of course, Sarah, who's about to go to bed, the guys from India. So it was like the happy medium to have it at this particular time. Anyway, we welcome you aboard, and we hope we're going to see you more often, for sure. Right, Leon, will you pass it to Henry if you guys are still there? And then I think that'll be it. You can close the station, ZS1 Mexico. from ZA6 Yankee India.
Okay, Gary, ZA6 Yankee India and the group ZS1 Mike. Yeah, now also having to go. Yeah, very hello to Miguel there, Charlie Tango 3 Fox Mike. I have seen you before somewhere on the band, Miguel, but I've never had a QSO with you. It's nice meeting you here. You look very much like that other fellow with all the army tanks and stuff. At one stage I thought it was him, but then I realized, no, it's not him. So yeah, very nice signal from you, Miguel. Good audio, good video. Signal was good, so no problem at all. And if Ed can receive you, then you're doing well. Okay, right. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add here. Something did cross my mind, but I keep on forgetting. We've covered the infrared. Oh yeah. Ed, that RS232 chip. The easiest way to replace that is take a very fine side cutters and cut the pins at the IC, not at the board. All right, as close to the IC as possible. Cut them all off, and then you just desolder them and pull them out with a tweezer. That's the least amount of strain on the PC board. If you want to replace a chip like that, no standard through hole, you just cut the pins off. But at the right next to the IC, and then there's enough left so that you can hold it with a tweezer and just unsolder it and pull them out. That works best. And yeah, you're quite right. Then you put a socket in there, a good tulip socket, and then the lightning can come again. Then you just unplug it and plug a new one in. Okay. And oh yes, as far as the flux removal, when I was still at the workplace, we used isopropyl alcohol, but I found that normal lacquer thinners works much better. And all the normal surface mount components are pretty robust. They can stand up to the lacquer thinners. Don't let it get onto any plastic stuff or something like that, because it'll eat it. But for removing flux from surface mount boards, it's perfect. It's very quick, no residue, much more efficient than isopropyl alcohol. So that's what I use if I do surface mount boards. I use lacquer thinners to wash it afterwards, and then it looks like brand new, as if nobody's ever touched it. Okay, so that's cheers from me here in Worcester, South Africa, 70 miles from Cape Town, and I wish you all a lovely week. And I shall give it to Henry. ZS6 Mike Charlie, if you're still there. For the group, ZS1MM is saying 73s.
Just get my cursor in place so I can unmute myself. Okay, thank you very much, Leon, for handing it over to me, and really a very nice net today. And Miguel, nice to have you on, boa tarde. I'm not sure if what the time is in Funchal, very beautiful city. I have been there, and it's been absolutely wonderful. So I went all the way around the island, up to Ponta Muniz, and then came round down the center of the island of Madeira, and saw the devastation of the mudslides and the rock slides that you had there many years ago. I can't even remember. I think it was 2010 or 2011 that I was there. But in any case, that's a long story, Miguel. Enjoy yourself, all the very best, and yeah, thanks for popping in today. It's actually my very first chance to hear and speak to a Portuguese station, Charlie Tango 3 Fox Mike. My call sign is Charlie Tango 7 Alpha Radio Delta. That's my call sign. So keep well for now, and we will speak again. And Gary, thanks again. Wonderful for you to run the net for us. We do appreciate it. It always makes life a lot easier. To Tom, I think Tom is actually watching as well. And then to Nigel, 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel Hotel. I hope to see you on next week as well, Nigel. So keep well. And I also think Oscar November 1 Radio Charlie, Chris is also watching at the moment. So all the very best. Very nice. And thanks for all the wonderful tips regarding SMD. Leon, I will touch base with you again on this lot. I actually learnt about lacquer thinners today. So that was another thing that I learnt. Always a learning experience on this particular frequency. All right, so that's me. I don't know if there's anybody else, but Gary, I'm going to pass it back to you as the master of ceremonies, the ring master, as they say, and you can decide where you want to put it from here. So ZS6 Yankee India and the net, everybody signed, I think, just about. This is ZS6 Mike Charlie, now off and clear. Bye-bye, and thank you very much.